Hey everybody, it's Cam. Welcome back to the channel. It is March 13th, Saturday. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. And in this video, we're going to talk about GameStop. So GameStop's also been very volatile this week. Wall Street Bets plays are back the last 3 weeks and looking to move higher and squeeze those shorts that are still hanging on. And volume intentions coming back into them. You know, obviously the market's out of its correction downtrend from the previous couple of weeks, looking to move higher. S&P set new highs, Dow set new highs, and stimulus passed, so more money is going to be flooding into the market. People are getting those $1,400 stimulus checks, and we'll be looking to get some liquidity into the market and not miss out on FOMO opportunities like they possibly did last time. So dumb money could be flowing back into GameStop. People see a quick reward. You know, don't do their due diligence or set risk reward parameters and get caught basically with their pants down. But that does, you know, increase the volatility. Stock can go up higher, stock can go down lower very quickly, and GameStop's proven that, especially with this move on Wednesday, which we'll also look at. But GameStop's looking to move higher again, obviously. So we'll just start here on the weekly chart. So fib levels on here, the blue from the all-time intraday high to the low. The red is from that high to the low from several weeks ago, so it's backside move basically. And you see 2 weeks ago we pinged off this 38.2 fib, sold off, and then last week made an inside bar off that previous week's bar on lower volume, and then basically took off this last week, up 92% from the close last Friday. So pretty significant move, basically double the percent move from AMC. You know, cost is, you know, equal percentage volatility wise to GameStop really, but AMC's been kind of the laggard of the Wall Street Bets plays. But just on the weekly here, you know, a play a lot of people can look at. You can look at it on daily charts too, or weekly charts. The patterns still hold, but you look for like a kicker symbol, right? So this week's candle, you know, if it breaks below that high and then comes back higher, going green, you risk off this high, you know, 151. So you're basically risking the $150 range, and you know, that simple play right there would have been 2 times your money this week because GameStop made a crazy move. So if we go look at that week, just down to the 5-minute chart, quick. You know, so pre-market move, gapped up higher. You know, basically, if I can't go back as farther, but we basically held the aftermarket high here on the ping, moved up higher, gap up again Tuesday, aftermarket, pre-market, same thing Wednesday, and then Wednesday we got that quick run in the morning. You know, got exponential pretty quick, and then 50% drop literally in 30 minutes, including halt time. So crazy. I haven't really seen an explanation on it. You know, it could be, quote, people saying that the institutions trying to scare people out. You know, a massive stop loss raid, whatever have you, or whatever you believe it is. That guess is as good as mine. I don't really know. So, but we pulled back, and so if you actually made a fib off this move, you'll see that the bounce got all the way back up to this 38.2 level, pulled back to 61, and then we consolidated basically in that range on Thursday, right? So Thursday, inside day, stayed between the 38 and the 61, basically entirely Thursday, and then Friday still, you know, a lower volume day, broke out above a little bit, but pulled back into the 50 to close on the 5-minute chart. So, you know, moving averages on the 5-minute wise are kind of trending down, but after hours, you know, we did put in higher lows here. So if we go back out to, you know, the daily chart, let me get rid of that last fib I just drew. You'll see here we just get this massive doji move right off that 9 EMA here on the daily, but the next candle is green, right? So I'm not necessarily a big fan of how Thinkorswim does this, but it's green even though the close is below the previous candle close because this goes off its open price, but moved higher, but on lower volume. A lot of selling volume came in Friday, as you see down here on the mixed volume, but we couldn't push it below the close from the previous day, so that's a pretty good sign that the buyers are in this level to support it. And you can see the volume. GameStop doesn't have volume up here off this move or in this range like AMC does, but you see we are getting some volume put in, laid down here in this 275 area, and still once we get above back into the 300s, get real thin. So the high 483, if you actually go back, I think you can see it on the hourly. If I do this real quick, most of that move, up when we were up higher in the 300 to 400, 500 area, took place, pre-market, where it's very thinly traded, so there's still not a ton of volume up there. And then what's in this range, right? So it moved quickly here. So in a 2-hour time frame, 483 down to 120, right? So $360 move in 2 hours, or the equivalent of like a 75% drop. So volume is all spread out in that upper range, so that gives it an increased ability to squeeze, because there's not as much volume overhead acting as resistance. But I think hourly here you can see it pretty well. So we poked into this 325 area where there was a ton of consolidation on that move, right? So if you probably took the midpoint of the swings here, and where a lot of these candles are consolidating around this 38.2 fib, this 331.78, which we broke into. And I kind of find these interesting too, but like here on the hourly, right? So this hourly closed right at 331.23, so right on that swap of the hour, we're right on that mark, and pushed above, but couldn't get that close above it. So we'll look to see GameStop after that significant drop, right? Basically, we're just consolidating, laying down volume here, trying to form a new base to move higher, as these, the longer term moving averages are still moving up. So hourlies, respecting this 50 EMA here, and it's still uptrending. Obviously a positive. 200s uptrending, obviously a positive for a bullish move higher. I don't think 30, 15, maybe let's check 15. Yeah, 15 still, the 200s moving up. So, and we pushed off it here on Thursday after the move. So this could be your highest unit resistance. So one thing I like to do is I have, a list. I used to have a list next to my computer of, all the EMAs moved out, because it's still just time frames, right? So if it's 15 minute times 200, that's 3,000 units. So then you have a different time frame on what you're looking at. So let's say you had 30 minutes, right? So your 30 minute to 200s is 6,000 units. So down the list. So you go down the list looking at which ones are holding, on the time frame. So right about that time, so the 30, 50 also held. So those are levels you're looking for to act as support, moves higher, right? So if this pulls back, it might break one, but it might not break the other. So then you risk or play off that support that is holding. But that's just one thing I do, or I like to look at on plays. But you see, we are getting back into an exponential move here by GameStop. So we'll have to look to see where this could be going. Probable, obviously to go higher, we need to get back over this $300 mark at this 299.48. You could say kind of acted as resistance Friday. We got up to 295, not necessarily touching 298 or 299, excuse me, but we're within 1 to 2% right there. Then once that goes, this 331 fib, it's the next target up. And then if we look at options for this week expiring March 19th, you see got a big concentration here on call options at $300 mark, then 350, and then obviously trend the $50 at a time. So then 400, 450, 500, 500 the mid. And that would be a new intraday all-time high. And then 550, 600, even higher concentration than 500. and 700. But I mean, I think 600 is probably a level. Yeah, so 600 would be the right about the. If I go back to it real quick, back and forth, I hate doing that, but that $600 area, right? So the blue move from the low to the high intraday, 127 is about 613. So that would be, you know, a logical area if you are a believer in Fibonacci extensions. But back to the calls real quick, options, and then just lastly, it only goes to 800 here on Yahoo Finance, but obviously a huge volume, 31,000 at 800. So a lot of people are incredibly bullish on this, you know, for this thing to run, especially could by the end of the month. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think just like AMC, like there's a lot of things in the market that look to push this thing higher. You know, Bitcoin's up, all this money is going to be thrown in, liquidity's coming in, so you know, downside risk could be limited. But something like GameStop, where you know, it proved this week where it can drop 50% in half an hour. You know, you got to be careful, right? You want to be aggressive, but also defensive, protect your capital, and risk what you're willing to lose on a trade like this. So that's what I got for you guys for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments, where you think GameStop's going, and I'll get back to you guys. I appreciate your guys' feedback. Let me know how I can make these videos better, or what's something else you would like to see, and I'll take that into consideration. Thanks. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you in the next one.